you guys for being here. I'd like to call the Facilities and Safety Committee a meeting to order. Meeting has been posted according to the Open Meetings Act, and although we don't need a forum, we have it. That's good. So we'll just go to our first item. Do we have any public comments for agenda topics?
There are no requests.
Awesome, all right. And then I guess Oscar, why don't we jump right into it? You can do it at the same time, however you want to do it, the ESSER funded projects and then TRE funded projects, however you want to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome everyone. Will Chairman Chairperson Bettis and members of the Facilities Committee meeting. I'm going to start off by presenting the ESSER funded projects, and these are basically HVAC projects and re-roofing projects. On the HVAC, you'll see there in your packet on page 4 that the central plant at the high school is about 75%. We're pretty much completed everything. They just finished the electrical and they're doing test and balancing right now. The HVAC improvements at Coakley, Long Wilson, the Coakley controls are being finalized, and the units at Long and Wilson are being installed. It's about 76%. HVAC at Bowie and Gutierrez, we're about 15% complete. And then we have controls at the high school, phase 1, phase 2. They're about 20-25% complete. They're running the wires at several of the wings. HVAC administration annex across the street is controlled as well, 55% complete. And at South, there's some units that we ordered that will be coming in, I believe, January. So we'll wait for those units to come in. The 3% is just that they built the bond insurance and things like that, submittals. Any questions on the HVAC projects? These are all federally funded with ESSER funds. That's just some pictures of the units at the work being done at Coakley and Long Wilson. These are the 3 units at Long that were installed over the fall break. Moving on to the re-roofing doors and windows.
Absolutely.
May I ask just one question?
Yes.
How long do these units typically last? Hopefully longer than my home.
Rooftops like these last about 12 to 15 years. We can stretch them out to maybe 18 years with a lot of Band-Aids and fix and patch, but eventually the coils and the fins are the ones that go. The compressors we can replace, but the problem with trying to maintain them and make them last as long as you can, after about the 12th year, they really start losing their efficiency and the electric bills go up. So you're not really saving much money by delaying the inevitable to replace them because you're spending more money on energy.
Thank you.
On the re-roofing, we have work at South, Vela, and Early Childhood Academy. Most of that work is at Childhood Academy. We're about 52%. And at Vela and Height and South, there's some minor work with some flashing and some redirecting of some of the drains, things like that they didn't have problems with. And then the other roofing is real roofing. I'm sorry, the big one is RGO roofing at high school, 4.6 million. That's not only roofs, but also doors and windows that were part of that project, which are what we call the fenestration improvements. Overall, we're about 53%. And then the roofing at Admin Annex, Vernon, Wings, Cosmetology, and Wings, mini gyms. The Admin Annex is complete. Vernon ILC is complete. There's already at the Cosmetology downtown. That one's got a lot of repair work. And mini gyms, there's about 6 elementaries that are getting some work. There's just some pictures there of the roofing at Early Childhood Academy. And the bottom wing is the wing 1 at the high school. You can see they're already laying the cap sheets, about 60-65% of the caps already. They are working at night because during the day we already had some complaints of some smells. Well, they actually opened up the windows too, and then more of the smoke came in, so we had to go intervene and tell them not to do any work during the day and keep working at night, weekends and holidays. So it's been working out pretty good. That's over at the Early Childhood Academy. They've already, once they put the new built-up insulation, paper insulation, it's the rigid board insulation, and they dry it in, mop it in with the felt paper. That means it can rain and it's dried in, it won't leak anymore. Then they come in and they put the cap sheet. On the mini gym, so if you look at the bottom picture, you can see a good cross section of, we're not replacing the metal panels, we're actually putting new panels on top. You can see in the bottom is more what they call an R panel. You have the low and the high area, low and high. We've actually installed insulation board in the lower, in between those runners, and then put the new metal, standing seam metal roof on top of that. So we're adding additional insulation to that. And because our mini gyms are air conditioned, it should save a little bit on energy costs as well. So really excited about that work, and we had a lot of leaks, rust spots, and so this is going to really improve those 6 elementaries.
I'm not sure, those arrows are pointing at the rust spots, or what are you pointing out there?
That's the insulation board that was inserted, and the one on top right, I think it's just the flashing that they're putting, the edge flashing that gets work. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Any questions? If not, we'll move on to the Cherry project, which are page 11. So page 11, the paving and drainage improvements at SAC and first responders, that was complete. I've showed that before, but we're waiting on the last gate package. We finally got that approved. And they ordered materials, and they should start mid-December.
They started.
They already started working, so they'll be trenching for the pipe for the sprinkler, cover it all up. Once they do that, they'll bring in some fill dirt, and then they'll start with the plants. On the Earth Childhood Academy, and I'll show some nice pictures of that, it's pretty much done, 98%. They're just doing the punch list work. Renovations at the high school is the work that we're doing with Zero Construction on the quad, landscaping, landscape courtyard work, the wood soffit, lighting, the metal, the all metal panels, and I'll show some pictures of that. Copeland Vernon Gymnasium, we're about 23% of what we're doing with the contractor on the bleachers. Then they're mortarized, those are coming in, they've already come in. They're gonna start that work next week, demolishing the old bleachers, and then they'll start installing the new bleachers, so those are in. What we're waiting for is on the stage. Copley and Vernon have that old stage in the gyms that they had, because they have curtains when they would throw the basketball, the balls would go on the stage. So they have portable partition walls, really high, very heavy. They're just old, they're beat up, we've patched them up many times, and we're gonna be replacing those, but those won't be here till April. That'll be the last part of the project that we do. On the parking lot lights, at Belleville Central Admin, if you notice outside, there was a lot of construction and some concrete rubble. They're knocking down the old footings of the old light poles here in at Vela. And then they're waiting, they've already got approval for the poles, the type to order. Those will be in I think in January.
February.
February?
Yes.
But they'll be working on the footings. Well, no, these poles are not gonna sit on concrete footings. These poles are solid concrete holes will be made, and they'll be stood up in the hole, covered up, so that you don't ever have to worry about the rusting that you have, the metal on top of the footing, covered with a little plate, and with the screws. It was always rusting, we had a lot of problems. So it's a design that should last for many, many, many years. The culinary, that we've already demolished them. They're working on the ceiling, tearing everything apart. We're gonna have a new grid with new light fixtures and some plumbing work.
And that's, I'm sorry, one question. The culinary's at
Both high schools.
at both high schools. Oh, okay. Got it.
So there's some photos of the Early Childhood Academy. On the left, there's some, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a water fountain that kids can tilt that trough back and forth like a seesaw, and then throws water on either side. So it kind of teaches them about gravity, and it's a play area. You see the garden skates on the top right for the planters. On the bottom left, you see the mud pit in front of the covered area, play area. And then you see the boat. We actually have a play boat on the lower right-hand side that the kids can play in. We'll have a covered area, kind of like a mini amphitheater theater with seats made out of logs. We have a meadow, which is in the middle, bottom left, artificial turf. And from all the way from the inner courtyard, if you follow the pavers, and then you come out and you follow that sidewalk, you can go all the way around this whole area. And they have little tricycles that they can do a whole loop and all the way back and go around all these spaces. The drainage system was designed where we have pebble rock with stones that will simulate a creek or a river when it rains. and so it helps take the water out. That top left is that concrete area in the back is where there'll be tables for the teachers, like an outdoor eating area, and they can supervise the kids. On the top right, there's a little bridge over the creek that they can get to another playscape. I forget what those areas are, but they can play and bang on them and they make noise. On the bottom left is the playground. What is that called? That brand? The Jungle Gym. A certain name is called. Huh?
Like the rainbow.
Rainbow play equipment. And behind that is a grass area, which is natural grass, because the meadow is artificial, but we also want kids to be able to play on real grass. And then they have little fundraisers, little carnivals. They can set up outside and put stakes on the ground and put up a tent, and you'll have a nice natural grass area for the kids. And it's all fenced in with an 8-foot fence. Over at the high school, that quad area I talked about is a very popular spot. The top left, the top right, they have what looks like a planter, but in the middle there's a logo with a cardinal, and it's got lights, so you can see it. And they covered it because they want to do an unveiling. So Wednesday, I'm not sure what time, they're going to have a little ribbon cutting and an unveiling of the logo. At what time?
5.
At 4 or 5? 5.
5.
At 5 o'clock. If you can attend the event, it'll be nice to see that. And it's a really popular gathering spot for the kids. And you can see the ramp going down to some dining tables that they were around the campus. They were bolted, we took them out, we moved them over there with our maintenance staff so they can have some seating areas. And some screen wood fences on the bottom left, screening a lot of the electrical equipment that looked just kind of ugly there. And on the bottom right, you can see with that valley gutter that took out the water, also simulating with some rocks, gravel, simulating the creek area when it's raining, it gets the water out. Just some different views of the landscaping in that quad. Bottom left is the area that was next to the dining hall that we call the dungeon. It was real dark and dingy in there. We've opened up about a 4-foot portion on the roof to let in some more sunlight. We brought in some planters, just to try to beautify and make that space a little more inviting. So it's a lot more lit and kids like hanging out there. On the doors and windows, a lot of those old wooden doors on the stairwells are out. Now we have storefront with the galvanum type material that matches a lot of the other upgrades that we've done there. You can see the wood and the lighting up in the top inside. The stairwells will match that main corridor. And the band hall, that stucco that was just tearing and cracking apart, we've replaced it, we tore it all down, and we're putting the metal panels with a nice design on the exterior. And we're about halfway on that. Coakley Vernon, you can see the top left is Vernon with the new acoustic panels on the wall. We've repainted it, all the walls, the ceiling, all the way to the metal deck and the trusses. And it's just really changed that whole look of the gym. We also have brand new LED lighting. Coakley, and the Vernon doesn't have a wood floor. They still have that rubber gray floor. That's why Coakley looks very different. In the bond issue, we put a wood floor at Coakley. It's been completely resanded and repainted. And the bleachers that you see there, the wooden ones will be replaced with plastic, and they'll be mortarized. And you can also see the new acoustic panel designs in the top wall part of the walls for the acoustics, and also brand new LED lighting. We're also doing some upgrades to the sound system.
Oscar, are those bleachers, do they have the rails, handrails?
Yes, yeah. In today's codes and standards, they have to meet all the ADA requirements. But we're getting pricing on a vendor that does that kind of work to see what it would take to upgrade those at South. I think preliminary information around is like $75,000. We want to see if that's the full meal deal. We want to see if we can shorten it maybe just to the top 3-4 steps, if that'll comply with code. It said once you mess with it, you have to comply with standards 100%. So we're still working through that process. Culinary arts, I said that we had demolished it, and now they're taking out all the seating and fixtures and underground plumbing. Once they get that done, then they'll start doing all the build back. And that's it on the TRE projects as far as building construction. Any questions on those before I move on to the fencing project?
Go ahead, sir.
If not on the fencing, On the fencing, the last meeting, I talked about Dishman, it was under construction, when we finished there, we were gonna go to Crockett. Well, we're done at Dishman, it's 100%, so now we're over at Crockett. That's just a site plan of the red line showing what all the new fencing we did at Dishman. And that back part, they actually had a 5-foot fence, so they got an 8-foot fence now. And that's just a picture of it. It's just not fencing, but it's also gates and small areas of the buildings. Sometimes the building is actually the perimeter of the fence and doors and things like that.
Oscar, how much land do we have around that Dishman area? We have part of it, right?
There is an adjacent property we bought back in '92, I believe. I'm sorry, 2003. 20 acres.
And have they approached you, the city, about, there was somebody approached?
Is the drainage district?
Yeah.
Yes, and actually I talked to Dr. Gonzalez about it. We're going to put that on your next agenda in executive session.
Then
to
we don't need
discuss
to comment any
property
further, I
matters.
was just wondering if they contacted you or not, but I just redirected them to you, so.
They have, and we're going to discuss it in executive session next week. And we'll give you an update on what's going on there. At Crockett, again, you can see the red line, a lot of the new perimeter fencing. And they've already started construction. This is also an 8-foot fence. After we're done with this, we have some more upcoming fencing projects. If you look at page 26 on your packet, it describes that we've already completed 13 campuses. We spent about $962,000. We still have 15 additional campuses we're going to be doing some assessment and work on. And we're going to be doing this in-house with our draftsmen drawing up the drawings. We have Danny and Tanya helping us meet the TA state requirements on fencing, all the new requirements. So they're walking with our staff, giving input where we want gates, exit gates, heights, what applies, what doesn't comply. So they're helping us with the scope, and then we're making all those notes in the drawings and specs. And we'll finish that here right before the holidays, and hopefully we can advertise during the holidays. And when we get back, we'll be receiving proposals for the new projects, about 14 to 15 sites. And there I just mentioned a few of the things that we're doing: anti-scaling, new fencing, fence posts, egress gates, compliant to the height requirements, and any other modifications we can apply. The next group of schools that we're going to be looking at is Rodriguez, Travis, Bowie, Zavala, Milan, Bonham, San Houston, Lamar, Long, Wilson, Bryant, High School, Hardin, Collegiate High, Hardin School of Health Professions, and the Childhood Academy. Some of these are new, and you're wondering why do they need a new fence. It's not new fences, they're actually exit gates. Because when you're out on the playground, if there's a shooting in the school or some kind of emergency, people run out to the fenced area, and now we have 8-foot fences. I can't get out, and I'm cornered, and the shooter running out to attack the students. So we're strategically placing exit gates for emergency so they can push and run out of the campus entirely. So that's part of the scope as well.
So, but they're one way, you can't pull it from the outside, is that correct?
Tanya, how are we designing this?
That's correct, so they will only be able to come out from the inside of the campus, so anybody on the outside would not go in.
So there's some kind of plates and like a grill that they can't stick their hand and get in.
Got it.
So you have to be on the inside and push it to open it.
They have a panic device with an extended metal front, so they can't put like a coat hanger or something.
Got
And
it.
then it has an automatic door closer as well. These are all commercial grade.
Got it.
The bear can play that, and that's anything
And
else.
they call it emergency egress.
Emergency egress gates, yes. And we have to look at those areas, especially the smaller 6-foot, although they comply, they have the pointy spikes on top. But if you have a tall kid, we saw one example that if they can get a backpack, throw it over the fence and hit it just right and hit that lever, it could pop it open. So we're going to see it's areas like that where it could be a problem. If we go 8-foot, it's a lot harder to do that. But on the lower fences we have, where did we see that? It was an example that the state gave us, or a video.
That was at, San Houston.
Oh, we actually had an incident like that at San Houston.
Well, one of our guides showed it for us. There wasn't an incident that we've identified.
Oh, someone said, hey, you could do this, simulated how it could be open, but that was our staff that I guess did that. So we're looking at all those things to see how can we prevent things like that from happening so that nobody can open it from the outside.
And the funding source for this set of fencing?
We have TRE funds for this, but we did, and I think at the next meeting, it'll be a good time to put on agenda items to update the safety grant that we received, 4.3, 4.6 million, that we're gonna try to divert this towards that.
Yeah.
And even if we pay for it, we can get reimbursed. But part of that grant, the big piece is gonna be Danny's communication system with radios, could be anywhere up to 2.5 to 3 million.
Right.
Emergency notification systems, and with the fencing, when we added everything up, we were already over the 4.6. So we use all that up, we might maybe fund half of the fencing. But either way, if we're able to save some money on those, we can probably get it all paid for.
Can you briefly say more about this grant? Is it federal grant or to the state or?
It's a state grant, 4.6 allocation, and we apply based on our entitlements. So, and the state had allocated $1.6 billion worth of funds for safety.
Okay, got it.
So we were required to apply.
Yeah.
Qualify.
Awesome.
Yes, we'll do the job.
I think maybe by the next meeting in February, we'll be able to give an update of where we are on that grant and what we've identified to be paid for. Submitted, although we got the grant, we have to submit the projects that we want funded anyway. So we'll give an update at that meeting. Contingency allowance, just to report a couple of them on the roofing at the annex building over here with Real Roofing. We did have an aluminum ladder that we wanted to put from a lower roof to a higher roof, instead of the roofers always having to manually bring ladders. You can put those ladders with a little round cage around them, so they can get from the high roof to the higher roof. And that was only two, and then an eave strut at Jefferson Elementary, that was only 2,220, so the contingency is 66,000, we still have 64,340 left in that project. On the roofing at Early Childhood Academy, Hardin High School South, we had a change order for replacing metal roof deck. That was, which wing, do you remember? Early Childhood Academy, we have some, they take off the old insulation, they see some rust spots. And this is what that unit price is meant for in the project, that if they see one or two or a few, you can replace it, and we have a unit price that's part of the bid, so we know how much to charge. So this one was $18,000. So out of our contingency of $51,000, we still have $32,000 left on that project. So anything over $25,000 I'm required to update the board. I don't have to put them on the agenda because they're not over 25,000, but I reported them at this meeting. And that's all I have to present. Are there any questions? If not, we can move on to the financial report. Randy?
Thanks, Dr. Perez, board members, Dr. Gonzalez. So here you have our TRE budget for the past 9 years. Currently, under column 5, we spent $88.4 million worth of expenditures for TRE projects. Currently, we're under year 9, that's the red column. We are, for the year, $7.2 million. We've encumbered that much of expenditures as well as expenses. So total for years 1 through 9, as on column 7, we spent $95.7 million worth of TRE projects. When we compare that to our budget of $104 million, we have a positive variance of $8.6 million on our TRE budget projects. Again, this is as of November 30, 2023, and this is our 9th year under the TRE program. Any questions or concerns?
I just have one question.
Yes.
Where we were talking about the safety stuff
Yes.
before, that's encumbered in here.
That is right, yeah. If you see the number 953,134 under column 6.
The first, oh yes,
It's
there.
included
Okay.
in there.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And if any of those fencing projects that we can transfer over to the new grant, we're gonna transfer over to the new grant. Make sure we spend those funds first.
Yeah, we like that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is it a grant or is it recurring?
It's a grant.
It's a
4.6, yeah.
4.6, you said?
4.6 million. So we can,
It was part of that, you said that 1.9 million for safety out of this legislative session.
that is correct, that is correct. But they're not allocated automatically. We had to apply and identify the projects for our district, and we did that. I think we submitted that September 21st. There's a survey, we sent that out, and we were allocated $4.6 million.
Awesome. Any questions? If not,
Thank you.
that's,
Sir.
anything, do we have anything? Yeah, please
Just
go ahead.
right quick, if I
Yes,
may.
absolutely.
I just wanted to let you all know that we have talked a lot about Early Childhood Academy, lots of fun things going on at Early Childhood Academy. And so our next committee meetings will be held at the campus, so we can go out and see all of the outdoor learning spaces.
Mandatory
The
playtime.
caterpillars and butterflies won't be there. But it's a work day, but at least you'll get to see where they play. So we'll have those committee meetings move over to next month.
Like a weight restriction.
Weight restriction, we're not gonna talk about that. It'll be after the holidays. Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully it won't be 8 degrees outside.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we have extra time with Dr. Gonzalez, anything else? Or?
Just proud of the team. I know that there's a lot of moving parts right now, and the money team and FMO, you guys have done a tremendous job. And I see Danny and the team also just proud of the Guardian program and everything that's happening. We were out across the district today, just wonderful things going on, elementaries, middle schools, and high schools. Dr. Reiniger and I spent some time at Harlingen High, which was nice. She was able to see some of the things that are going on there. So just hats off to the entire team, to Dr. Corton, just everybody. Everybody's working really hard, the teachers and the students. And got a lot of momentum going on. So thank you to the board, the community, everybody. We're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, and just to comment on that, I mean, I think, I think the feedback we get from the school is that all your officers are, role models, and they really comport themselves well, but also they're also as a deterrent, as well. People see them and things like that. Are we making sure? Are you, Dan? I'm curious on this. Are you happy or satisfied with any large events, like football games, for example, the large events, right? Are you satisfied with the show of force or the deterrent that's on display for those events, or is it still not enough? Because, Dr. Gonzalez and I visited a much larger event in Austin, and we got to see how the UT system does what they do for those types of events. But I'm curious to know your sort of reflection, or if you had to do it different, or are we doing enough for those big events? If that question makes any sense.
No, it does, and I think that's an ongoing assessment that we're conducting, that we've had more recent conversations with some of our local law enforcement partners. And I've had that conversation with Dr. Gonzalez, where I think there's some growth that we can continue to look at internally. I think there's some things, some capacities that we can be self-sufficient, but then there's other areas of expertise that we may better leverage existing resources with the different partnerships we have. As far as what we're doing currently, I think we have a very good relationship right now with Harlingen PD, some of our other partners that whatever the need is, they've been very forthcoming with resources, and we work together to make sure there's enough manpower. I think some of the areas that we're going to continue to explore to make it a harder target is going to be not necessarily just the bodies, but it's a lot of the administrative processes that are associated with the events. I think there's area for improvement in our partnerships with Harlingen PD and any of the other law enforcement stakeholders, where we start really injecting more of the ICS model, the pre-planning, that there actually be the systems in place in writing ahead of time so that everybody knows exactly what they're doing and who's assigned where. So there's some of those things that I've already had those conversations with our local partners, and I'm sort of trying to push to really inject that into how we do a more standardized, structured approach to large events. And that model really applies to whether you do it at the stadium, you do it at any other large venue. It's just one of those basic, it's a good structured system that I think we still need to grow into, not just as HCIC, but I'm saying as a community. So that's something that I continue to sort of promote with our partners.
Thank you very much. Well, I guess that's it, unless you have any questions.
Just want to commend Dr. Perez. Great job on Super Talk today, sir. We had a podcast today. You rocked it, so we're excited about that one coming out next Thursday.
I'm still hoping that we forgot to press the on button.
Then you already do it.
We didn't forget. It was fun.
No, thank you. So I guess meeting adjourned. Now, do we have to wait till 5 on the next one?